Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at some of the Chinese stocks listed in the US. Before we begin, remember to take a second to give the video a like and subscribe as you really help our channel. Without further ado, let's first start off with Baba. So Baba, as no surprise, it actually bounced off its last support here, 89.30 as mentioned last week. And however, you can see that we got rejected off this cloud resistance and then we come back down. So there is a very good opportunity for us to break this 89.30 this week and even follow through all the way towards this support area here at 7801 where more buyers are starting to appear at these levels again. In the event that we do not get at the bottom, then potentially 328 may be the next support in line. That said, we still have the $80 psychological support that's upcoming. Resistance to watch would be $96. That will be the first resistance for Alibaba, and the second resistance will be around this red baseline at around 106 levels. So for now, there is still a lot of cloud resistance on the way up, so there's nothing to be too happy about. Next up, we have Tencent. So Tencent, no surprise, it's dropping once again. So after this 37.92 breakdown, it's starting for us to start creating newer lows, perhaps 35 or even testing the $30 psychological support in upcoming weeks ahead. That said, two resistance to watch would be around $39 at this blue conversion line and this $41 at this red baseline as well. Moving on to NetEase. So NetEase, you can see that it is very much like shaken really. After this 50%, it can't seem to be holding well. If you were to break down, then $83 or $84 would be the next support before testing $78 below the $80 psychological support level. In the event that we can break out above 92, that would be good. But that's it, around 90, $94, $95, there is also cloud resistance at this area. Let's move on to NIO. So for NIO, we are still barely holding this 61.8% around 1956. If you break down at 1805 and 1655 is the next two support. Currently now, you can see that the cloud is acting as a potential good support, and hopefully it can continue as a good support. In the event that we break down, then things will start to turn ugly. If we can punch up these two particular resistance at around $20 and also this resistance here at $20.94 or $21, that will be a good sign for NIO. And hopefully we can continue to go back up to test $22 or even $24. Let's move on to JD. So for JD, it's very similar. We are actually currently holding this cloud support here. You can see that just last week, we found great support at the cloud, which coincides with this 50% Fibonacci at 57.56. If we will break down next week or this coming week, then $55 and $52 may be the next support in line. That said, for the resistance to punch up will be this rate, for the resistance to hold and the support to hold, it will be around $60 to $61. If you can punch up above $63 at around this high here, then that would be good for us to potentially retest $68. Moving on to Baidu. So for Baidu, a very similar situation to JD and NIO. You can see that last week we actually saw some good support here and buyers stepping in at this cloud support level. Two resistance to watch would be around 136 and also 142, 143 levels. You can see that this particular day here we rejected off this red baseline. So hopefully this will not act as a strong resistance in the event that we can test it the next week. If we start breaking down, then 122 and 114 is a potential support for Baidu. Moving on to PDD. So for PDD, barely holding as well. You can see that last week we actually broke the cloud support and we climbed back up and climbed back in. That said, around 50.80 at this 50% Fibonacci is barely holding. And if we can punch up above 55.75 at this baseline, that would be a good situation for PDD. If not, we'll continue to slide down to 45 or even potentially $40 psychological support level. Let's move on to KWEB. So for KWEB, you can see that we are already out of the clouds. This is not a very good sign. We are barely holding this 27.78 at 38.2%. So if we break down 26.23 and 23.72 may be the next support in line. For the resistance to break up will be around $28 to $30, where there is a very much thick cloud resistance here. Unless we can punch up above 32, then we are out of the danger zone. Moving on to CWEB. So for CWEB, you can see that we also broke down the cloud support level at this area here just last week after we see some sell-off in the first 2 days of the week. Not forgetting, if you can punch up above first resistance will be around 55.65, second resistance will be around 62 levels. That said, around 58 to 62, there is also a lot of cloud resistance for us. Moving ahead, if we can hold $50, that will be a good sign. If not, if we start breaking down this particular low here, which was around 1st and 2nd of August, this low was around $48, then that would not be a good sign for CWEB. It's likely for us to retest back this 44.40 if we were to break down this $45 support level. Lastly, we have FXI. So FXI is equally weak. You can see that we are already 23.6% at around 29.48, just above this $30 psychological support. There's a very good chance for us to break down towards this 27.83, where we see more buyers stepping in at these levels. In the event that we were to punch up, there will be a lot of resistance around $31 to $32 and this red baseline as well. So on the whole, you can see that most of the charts are looking very bearish for all the Chinese stocks listed in the US as well as the Hong Kong stocks as well. So hopefully we do not break down further, and if we do break down further, then hopefully buyers do step in at a certain point in time. So if there's any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thanks for stopping by. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.